boy Stevie Jobber. It's your boy Dangerous Dude. The Dangerous Jobbers podcast. Play the one. The boy Stevie Jobber. Dangerous Dude. Stay dangerous.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boy Stevie Jobber.
And it's your boy Dangerous Duke.
And welcome back to the Dangerous Jobbers podcast, putting wrestling over one podcast at a time.
Ain't that the truth?
Yo, speaking of the truth, there's really we really are only here for one reason. Let's keep it on it. But there's some stuff we gotta get through first. The pay-per-views, the major title changes, all of the blah 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 blah. So we get to that first. And then in a little bit we get to why we all are here.
Yeah.
So let's talk Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank goes down this past weekend, and let's just talk about the winners.
Okay, that's fair.
Intercontinental, the hearsay, great weekend for luchadors, all that good stuff. Naomi wins Money in the Bank.
Yes.
Thoughts?
So, bear with me for this, okay? As it's happening, not a fan of it. Like in the moment of her initially grabbing the briefcase and her music hitting, what the hell? Like, this is what you give us. This is not what any of us asked for. At least that's what my thought was. However, upon letting it sit and simmer for a moment, I thought to myself, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world because we have two face champions right now with Tiffy and with Io.
Mm-hmm.
And Naomi has been very good with what she's been doing with her character change, with her stuff with Jade. She's shown that she can take some stuff and make it good. So if I had to describe it in 2 words, cautiously optimistic. And I think that's only because I had my faith in somebody else to win, but cautiously optimistic. I'm not, as of now, I'm not terribly upset about it anymore. I want to see how this goes.
All right. Title of this episode, Cautiously Optimistic. I'm liking that. I like that. I like that. That's it. That's the tagline. I feel the same. But let me come up with a wild take here. I definitely did not expect it, but I need them to double down on this. I need some serious effort put into Naomi being the next carrier of the torch, so to speak. Because if we're gonna give Naomi the Money in the Bank, I did not call it. Like you said, at first it was a little sour, and then I had to realize, well, she was in nowhere land, writing wise. She had a rival, yes, Jade, but they booked her like Jade was head and shoulders above Naomi. So it was generally a non-starter because if the tables don't really turn and you've already lost, what point is there to run it back? Like, we've made a clear distinction of who's better than who. We need another way. So even though Naomi had something to do, she didn't really have a place on the card. This gives her a place on the card that says 2 things. It says, we see Naomi as main event. We did need to make that distinction. very important that we decide whether she is main or mid card because she may be having an expectation of something and we don't necessarily know if creative is headed that way. This says we want her in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, should we not make a fool of her, she is guaranteed to have a cash in and become world champion on either Io Sky or um
Tiffy.
or Tiffany. And
Even NXT.
even though I somehow do believe this has to tie into the big three anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I think if we double down on Naomi and her character change, like Biggie said, to have this be this now, all these years later, be the run of her life, I think would be
Actually, yeah.
too easy. But you got to double down. Otherwise, she becomes an Natalia.
Yeah.
And I feel differently about Natty recently, I will say, but that's for another day.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, I need them to double down.
Yeah, I
Like
know what you mean.
WrestleMania in Las Vegas. I need you to double down. All right.
No, don't get me started on that. That'll be a topic for another day.
Um, men's Money in the Bank winner. I think we called this one Seth Rollins. Um, I'll start on this one.
Go ahead.
Fatu turns on Solo.
That was good.
That to me is more important.
Yeah.
Um, and I think they had a banger of a match. I gotta go back and watch it again because I feel like I'm desensitized to Money in the Bank ladder matches. Um, so I'll go back again to check. But I think both of the men and the women, normally one's kind of a dud, but I think they both did pretty well this year. Uh, that being said, most important thing to me is that Jacob turned on Solo. Seth winning was kind of a gimme. I mean, it sucks for LA Knight, but
All right. So, first things first, regarding your statement about both matches being bangers, I'm gonna say a phrase I never thought I would ever say in my life. I'm sure Andrade's balls would care to disagree. Because that looked like it hurt.
it did
um,
look like it hurt.
but dude, like, sure, we kind of called it, but I think that's only because we kind of knew how WWE was gonna write it,
Mm-hmm.
and they chose predictable. For 3 years in a row, you had LA Knight in a Money in the Bank ladder match, gave him the spot of, hey, I'm gonna touch the briefcase and take it down, only to ruin it with the same guy. Like for 3 years in a
Mm.
row, it's been LA Knight to be the one to be there to unclip the briefcase, and then somebody else, the person literally right after him, gets it. It has been the same thing for 3 years. It was like that the first time he was in the Money in the Bank. Then it was like that with Damian Priest. Now it's like that with this. Like oh, dude, it's such a letdown. I mean, it's Seth, yeah, sure, established guy, knows what to do with it, but the Money in the Bank is supposed to make people, and
Mm-hmm.
this is a guy who is already made. So it, unless you're trying to use it to get his faction over, which I don't see the need for the briefcase to do. That's why you have Paul Heyman there.
Mm-hmm.
It confuses me. It should have been LA Knight. Hell, at one point I was okay with Americano grabbing it, but it is what it is. Seth is Money in the Bank holder, so now we have the men's Money in the Bank briefcase winner as a heel, and two heel champions. So I guess we're gonna have to see how everything plans out in heel land.
I was very in an alternate universe, in an alternate booking universe. like a mastermind scheme would be to have a Grande Americano win the Money in the Bank
Mm-hmm.
and cash in at Triple Mania against heel Del Vikingo, and them to allow it and him to steal the AAA Mega Championship and reveal himself as Chad Gable, and then immediately lose it in the next pay per view because Chad Gable can't beat luchadors.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing little, connect the worlds there. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the men's thing. I mean, it was,
They were good matches. They
they were
were,
good
but
matches though.
but
They were
I
good
I do
matches.
I, I do feel bad for Andrade. Hang in there, champ.
Damn. Um, Speaking to the end of Money in the Bank, and the reason we really are all here. Before I could even get the clip out of us reacting to R-Truth's release, because there was a ton of them. They flooded the timelines. We were all very upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of Money in the Bank, which I generally wasn't a thrilling main event, I would say they probably should have ended on the men's. But
Mm-hmm.
I see why they didn't for this reason. The deciding factor of Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso winning the tag match that virtually meant nothing. Um, the critical point was the return or debut of R-Truth and or Ron Killings.
Mm-hmm.
Now this takes us to a few places. Let's establish some things first. It was not a work.
No, it wasn't.
Ron, the Truth Killings, confirmed himself because he's now Ron, the Truth Killings on all platforms,
As well as his children.
um, as well as his children, that he was indeed not coming back. And via the word of the people, they renegotiated. And apparently, from what it sounds like, I don't think that, and I can't believe R-Truth being the businessman that he is, and the wrestling brain that he is. I'm sure once he realized he had the leverage, negotiated a bag and an
Yeah.
angle. Um,
Not mad at it.
because to come back as Ron Killings, I mean, a man I hadn't seen since the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about first uh
NWA heavyweight
NWA
champion.
heavyweight champion, first black NWA heavyweight champion, Ron Killings. That before I knew R-Truth, I knew Ron Killings, and that was my favorite. We had a pod about it.
Tag team champion with Adam Pac-Man Jones.
That
Like,
was my guy, yo.
yeah.
To get that Ron and all these years later, and know that it'll eventually go back to R-Truth. Like it's
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's made it known. Like y'all brought him back, but y'all set me free. And
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the promo, man. The promo Truth gave on Raw yesterday. I'm so glad we waited to pod so we could see Raw and get a taste of what R-Truth is going to be like because we're not getting R-Truth. We're getting Ron Killings. And if you think he's joking, if you think he's about funny all the time, if you think he's not, he's playing around, you should probably catch the shot of him holding his dreads in his hands after cutting it off live on air. Okay, looking crazy to holy ish chance. Well, Howland, it's whatever. to holy shit chants
Mhm. There you go.
ringing through the arena. I love the gloves, very Ron Killings. I think the depending on what this haircut gonna look like, or if we go with the bald look, I don't know what it's gonna look like. But if you do it like, I feel like he could maybe pull off a Suzuki type deal where you get the design. The thing. Anyway, um, I'm ready for the new look. I'm ready for what Ron Killings is gonna bring to the table. I'm
Mhm.
ready for this story. So tell me how you feel, and then we'll get this throwing some predictions around.
We won, Mr. Stark. We won.
Mm,
If that don't tell you right there that they don't listen to fans or they don't watch what the people on podcasts, TikTok, so any social media platform are saying, nothing will, because we literally everywhere on Twitter, on TikTok, on podcasts, on YouTube videos,
mm,
everybody was chanting for truth. Their own their own roster was on social media saying that they're gonna miss R-Truth, that he's the leader of the locker room, that he's one of the guys that they're all happy to see. Their voice was heard too. So that alone is great. That is a great win for wrestling fans everywhere. And then to add the cherry on top, like you said, whether he negotiated for it or that was just something that they brought to him, you kind of have a like a Mr. Glass unbreakable situation now because you have the other side of R-Truth, the other
mm-hmm.
personality, the split, if you will. Now you getting Ron Killings, you getting NWA heavyweight champion, TNA tag team champion with Pac-Man Jones. Even the little glimpse that we got in WWE back in like 2011 when he smoked the cigarette and blew all the smoke in John Morrison's face. We
Mm-hmm.
getting, for lack of a better term, we're getting a killer right now.
I mean, like, you don't understand. Like, he was in the master class of TNA talent. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was with the AJs. He was with
Samoa Joes. He
the
was with
Samoa
the
Joes.
Ewas, the Robert Roods.
He was with the Alpha Male, Monty Brown. Like, he was.
Mm-hmm.
We talking about prime, like Jerry Lynn. Like, this is truth
Instant
at.
classic Christian Cage.
He comes from a mighty class, and because of his style on TV, he has not been able to show that. But Truth has delivered great matches regardless. But now you can acknowledge those matches as being great man. Now he can get over on a different level.
Now they can show some clips of Ron the Truth Killings
And
in
they
his
tied into
glory.
TNA, so
Yeah, so you're gonna get it. You gonna get that.
uh, just it just warms my heart to be at this place in wrestling. Um, Speaking of which, we do got to get to the king and queen of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have something for where things might shake out for the king of the ring because the queen of the ring is all set in motion, but there's still a slot left for the king of the ring,
Okay.
if you see what I'm saying. But let's stop for a minute because we have to acknowledge something we maybe all say. I seen it coming. I
Mm-hmm.
said it last pod. I kind of saw this happening.
Yeah.
But Jey Uso on the story arc that he's burnt himself out too quickly. Um, Loses to Gunther clean, no floozy stuff. And honestly, I gotta say, at the end of the day, it probably needed to happen. I don't think Jay was where he needed to be on the mic all the time. Not that it really matters, but it does help sometimes to have a consistent promo and not just be feeding off the energy of the fans, regardless of how insanely over you are. No knock to Jey Uso. It just is, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you talking about what the title represents, the level of match quality, like it belongs on Gunther. And he just carries it a little bit better. Not to say that, and as what the championship needs. Now, if Jay was to get the WWE championship, I would not be saying this. But for what the World Heavyweight Championship generally is symbolizing, it just really didn't fit Jay, especially for the stories they was writing for him.
Um,
Sorry.
so I'm for the people who are listening that may not tend to agree with you on that, I'm gonna offer them this. Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, Gunther, trying to think. Jay. Did McIntyre hold this world title? Or did he just challenge for it? He
No, he
held
won it
he
because
he won it for like three
Damian beat
seconds.
it from Damian
Yeah,
got it.
he won it
But
because he
even the
got it from Seth.
acknowledgement of Drew is
But look, he
helping your argument.
so those five are the champions altogether for this title.
Mhm.
Of those five, who is the I don't want to say this in a bad way. Who is the worst one on the microphone out of those five?
If I had to say, I would have to say Jay. I mean, Jay, like that the only bad thing about Jay's run to me has been the holes in his game. Like leading up to this, I was vying for Jay being the guy we had always thought he could be in the bloodline stories.
Mm-hmm.
And once he held it, I think I liken it to like the Dean Ambrose effect.
Mm-hmm.
Because until Dean held the championship on SmackDown, we had all the expectations that Dean being champion would be an amazing run. And then he kind of held it on SmackDown, and after a while, like it wasn't a bad run, but it wasn't amazing. Like,
It was
and it
better
was
when
clearly like you could clearly tell when it was time for it to be up, is what I'm saying.
yeah. So Gunther getting the title back is not the worst thing in the world. The only thing that kind of makes it bad is that, and it's not even that it makes it bad, it just makes it difficult to navigate, is that now you have two heel top champions, and the guy who can be inserted at any moment with the Money in the Bank briefcase is also a heel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kind of makes it difficult to where heel champion, heel intermediate that can go either which way. That's kind of the thing that makes it a little difficult to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
But the run itself for Jay was, as bad as it is to say, I now here is where I'll exclude McIntyre. This is where, of the four main runs, it was the worst of the main four. Because
I could
Damien's
say
run
that.
was pretty good. Gunther's run was pretty good. Seth's run was great. Jay's was not terrible, but not great either. It was like, yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that wholeheartedly. Because Seth was the inaugural one,
And it was good.
and Seth made that title everything that it was. So by the time that Drew had beat him for it, and even then, like yeah, you got to exclude Drew because we didn't really feel like Drew should have won it. Drew was just in the perfect position to win it.
To be that
And even
transition.
then, yeah, and even then he transitioned immediately to Damian, um,
And
who
they had
had a
some good
good run.
matches. And they
They
had a
had a
good feud
They had
as
a
a world
great
champion.
run with Damian until he got to Gunther, and he really only lost to Gunther because of Finn, which another day. But Gunther went on to have I think it was a Gunther run, and I just don't think
It was a Gunther run where he wasn't invincible, like with the
Yeah,
IC
like
title.
I just don't think they booked it well because I see where they were going. Like he's been unbeatable for 80% of the time he's been here.
Hmm.
We can't we can't keep going this far now that he's champ. We gotta put some holes in his defense. We gotta have a character arc. We gotta build upon what he is.
Yeah, they made it
My
Gunther
advice,
adjacent.
my advice, don't. Like, if you were gonna do anything, you should have built on Ludwig Kaiser and built Ludwig Kaiser's growth around Gunther being dominant. You literally just did this with Roman Reigns.
Hmm.
It would have been so much easier. But I guess that was too easy, even though it seems like the most sensible thing to do. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. But Jay loses the Gunther, and maybe they'll go this way now. But I feel like it was the right decision. They should have went with Gunther. Um, he just can he just can carry it better. And let's face it, man, if you're gonna keep going up against these guys that are really good on a mic, it's gonna keep exposing how bad Jay is on the mic.
Yeah,
Even if it's not how bad Jay is on the mic, even if it's closer to Jay not remembering his lines or whatever the case may be.
there was clearly something there that he was lacking that they saw and were like, all right, I think this guy could do it better. So
Yeah,
that's really all it was at the end of the day. It's not
yeah,
going to hurt him, Mervin. It's not going to hurt him moving merch or being over with the crowd in any way. But it is what it is.
it is what it is. Um, and I think an actual mid card run might do him some justice.
Hmm.
Because let's face it, he didn't really get a fair crack at either. So you might as well send him back around again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Send him back around again.
you can't go back to the tag division.
Hmm.
So you might as well just give him another crack at the mid card. Um, but this does leave us with a lot of questions. This is the main takeaway from this past weekend. Um, and maybe I do feel like we didn't touch on AAA enough, so maybe I'll do a separate video on that, and maybe we can do a dark match on it. But it leaves us with all these questions about where Jay's going, where Truth's going, where the Money in the Bank winners are going. Um, and now we have the King and Queen of the Ring. Now, where's located aside, right? Let's make some general predictions and pretend in an alternate universe that we're at Night of Champions in like Atlanta and decide who we think is winning King and Queen of the Ring, what the semifinals are going to look like. We only got one fatal four away from the men, one fatal four away from the women. Perez stole a win. Well, not really stole a win. I think she got a fair and square.
Yeah,
Perez got
it
a
was clean
win.
for her.
Perez got a win on Kyrie Sane.
Yep.
Um, and I believe the other one is Sami Zayn, who got a win over who did he get a win over? Dom,
Yes.
who got a win over Dom. So let's do what do we want to do? Men or women first?
Either one's fine.
Let's do men. I'm already on men. Next fatal four way is Orton, LA
Hmm.
Knight, Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes. Predictions.
See
Winner
now,
goes on to face Sami Zayn. Very important.
now, as bad as this is for me to say, given those names you just threw out, is it bad that I want to say Carmelo Hayes?
I don't think so.
Because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Carmelo Hayes.
I'm thinking, uh, dang.
In a perfect
See, this
world,
is well, this is the
Aleister
thing
Black,
though.
but
This
Carmelo
is the
Hayes.
thing though. because we just touched on this with the men's Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Is it snuffing LA Knight if he don't win here?
Oh, ooh, I forgot.
You got to consider the names. Like to Orton to L is nothing. Alistair just came back. Whatever. It's like Penta losing. Hayes, I feel like deserves it. And you gave Andrade a break by putting him in the Money in the Bank. This would be a fair shake to give Hayes a break since we are trying to push them both at the same time in the same time frame. Realistically, on paper, this should be a Hayes moment so that he can have a really good match with Sammy and probably ultimately take the fall there, but that's for another day.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Carmelo here because while it looks like LA Knight may get the win, LA Knight did just come out and cost he just had beef with somebody in the
Was
bloodline.
it was it
So
JC? Was it Mateo? Or
I
was it
think it was one of them,
it
but
was one of them.
e-
It was
e-
Bloodline.
either way, I see Bloodline coming out and costing LA Knight, and then that's how Melo picks up a win by pinning either LA Knight or Randy. For the love of God, don't let Alistair take a pinfall in this match. You piss on Alistair, man, I'm gonna piss right back. But yeah, Carmelo gets the win here, and then that semifinal will be Sami Zayn and Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I like it. I don't want to argue with that. I'll make first call on the next one. Cody, Priest, Andrade, Nakamura. Man, I hate the Nakamura has not been pushed. Um, that being said, I feel like you're in a natty situation here, Nakamura. They just brought you in as filler, buddy. Love to see you go on a run. Just don't think it's gonna happen. Let's go. Would Cody Rhodes win? He do need something to do though. Cody Rhodes. What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's either Cody or Damian for this, and I'm gonna say Cody.
The bad thing is there's only really one bad guy, and it's Nakamura. And I plan on a good guy winning the next one if a bad guy were to win this one. But I just don't see Nakamura winning.
No, yeah,
So
it's
it puts me in a tough spot. But I'll tell you what puts me in a tougher spot.
uh-huh.
Sheamus, Rusev, okay, big Bronson Reed, and a mystery fourth opponent. Now, part of me wants to believe in the grand scheme of how big in scale Ron Killings could be. To give Ron Killings the match in this fatal four way, as seemingly an underdog, all three of these other men are bigger than him.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them definitely heel. So even heel to face ratio, right? But definitely the last guy in the match, size wise, that could win. Put Truth in a great underdog position as a last minute spot in the King of the Ring. Winner challenges for the world championship.
Of their
In
brand.
truth, you see that's the only issue. Because Truth couldn't use it to fight John. Because John's on SmackDown.
Oh, so did they re-sign Truth and fully bring him to Raw?
I don't know. I don't know, but he was on Raw to make that promo. So you tell me, what do you think they could do here? Because that's a full Raw lineup, I believe.
Uh,
Unless he states that he's gonna, you know, do they ipso facto it or do they bring in somebody for Raw? Like some lucha, like is it Mr. Iguana or something? Like
El Grande Americano.
El Grande Americano. Oh man. Alex.
No,
Is that where he does it? He wins King of the Ring and freaking reveals himself to Chad Gable.
possibly. Then we could finally get Chad Gable versus Gunther the right way. But Chad's heel now, so
But still, though, I would root for Chad anyway. Like,
I mean, unless Gunther makes a face turn, but I doubt Gunther's gonna do that. Um, so I'm gonna go with Cody wins for SmackDown on his side. Mystery opponent wins for the Raw side. And then we get what Cody and mystery opponent
oh my
fighting each
God.
other, and then we get Sammy fighting Mello, or do we get Sammy fighting Cody and mystery opponent fighting Mello?
Hmm.
No, yeah, it's up there. Okay, so mystery opponent wins his bracket, Cody wins his, and then that leaves us with Cody versus mystery opponent, and then Sammy versus Mello. I'm gonna go mystery opponent wins, and then Sammy wins versus Mello. That takes us to the finals. Sammy versus mystery opponent. Sammy wins. SummerSlam, we get Sammy and Gunther.
And now that I realize Sami Zayn is winning the King of the Ring because I'm a dummy and just got to this place. Um, Now I could, yeah. Cody wins. I think Rusev wins, or Big Bronson Reed wins, and
Oh, ooh, yeah.
but I could see Rusev winning, and then by some sort of Cody story that includes Cody and something Cody's dealing with,
Rusev
Rusev beats
wins.
Cody, and then it's Sammy versus Rusev in Saudi Arabia, and Sammy wins King of the Ring to then fight Gunther at
At
SummerSlam. Like, come
SummerSlam.
on, man. That's a super story. That's
And
how I would book it.
and again, since we're here now and we have gotten to this destination of Sammy and Gunther at SummerSlam, who wrote that story besides us? Who spoke it? Karrion fucking Cross.
Mm. Mm.
Mm,
Once again. Once again.
check
All right.
mark.
We took a while on the king on the men's. Let's try and run through the women's here so we can get out of here. Um Roxanne Perez, we said won the first one.
Yes.
Next one is Jade Cargill,
Oh,
Michin, Piper Niven, Nia Jax. So is it Nia Jax or Jade Cargill?
Jade Cargill.
Mm. I don't and whoever wins on SmackDown, let me tell you something. They're winning. They're winning against Perez. Whether it's Jade or whether it's Nia Jax, whichever one of them it is, they are beating Roxanne Perez and going to Saudi Arabia.
That's fine.
Probably Jax, considering she didn't win it the first. No, she did win the first time.
No, Liv.
No, she didn't. Right, Liv beat her. Right, yeah,
Liv won last year.
won last year. Oh yeah. It's Nia's year. It's Nia's year. I'm going Nia. I'm going
But
Nia
not
Jax.
Nia does have a Queen of the Ring though. It just wasn't last year.
It just wasn't last. Oh, so
It
she
was
is the
it
former
was
Queen
two
of the
years ago.
Ring.
Because remember, it was Zelina Vega,
Oh,
Nia Jax, then Liv.
dang. I'm reneging. All right. Let's go, Jade Cargill. I'm with you. I'm with
Storm is
you because
coming.
Nia's already had it. Give it to Jade. Jade could easily beat Perez. All right. Charlotte Flair,
Mm-hmm.
Alexa Bliss,
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea Green,
Mm-hmm.
and Candice LeRae. Okay. I'm gonna go Bliss.
I was gonna say, please, in the name of everything that is holy, Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, Bliss. Sorry, Charlotte. This generally is where Queen of the Ring would fit you really well, but I want to see Alexa Bliss. Um, and then we go to the last one, Asuka, Stephanie Vicaire. I'm seeing Ivy Nile and Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah. Um,
Um, yeah, go. Good.
Stephanie Vicaire.
Stephanie Vicaire versus Alexa Bliss. Yeah, okay. Okay. That seems more entertaining than Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. Stephanie Vicaire is the hot new prospect.
Mhm.
Let's throw Stephanie in there. 'Cause I think Stephanie versus Bliss is more entertaining than Stephanie versus Flair.
Mhm.
What do you think? Yeah. All right. Who wins? Bliss or Vicaire? And the question is, whoever wins that has to fight Jade and probably take that L.
No, they don't.
You're going Alexa Bliss.
No.
You just think somebody's going to cost Jade. Mm.
So on the hopes of someone's costing Jade, so Roxanne can get through.
Oh, early.
I'm gonna go Roxanne
Okay.
on that side because I have a theory on that, and then for the other side, let's just go with Stephanie Vicaire, for example.
Okay.
So then your finals are actually no. Let's go Alexa Bliss. So then we got Alexa Bliss, the seasoned veteran, Roxanne, the newcomer, on to the main roster.
Hmm.
The winner of the Queen of the Ring and getting the title shot against the champion of their roster with an assist from Judgment Day, Roxanne is the Queen of the Ring. Roxanne then goes and challenges for the world title, and that further plants the seeds in the head of Dom, the same man who dropped Mommy for Liv Morgan, to drop Liv Morgan and finally get with Roxanne Perez at the place where it started last year for Liv and Dom at SummerSlam. Dom will officially become the turncoat of SummerSlam when that happens.
Get the people back to hating them again.
Back to hating them completely at the place where it all began again at SummerSlam.
Darn you, Pete Davidson of wrestling. All right. Well, that just about does it for me, man. I got no more thoughts. I think
I
this is the
told you not to
perfect
let
time.
I
Go
told
ahead.
you not to let me book on the fly. You should
I
have just let me come up with my decisions beforehand.
no, I like it. I like it. I like Sami Zayn for King of the Ring. I actually like Alexa Bliss for Queen of the Ring, but
Now,
I think it could be anybody.
If
I think
Alexa
it
wins, I won't be mad. But if Roxanne wins, this is how she's gonna win.
there's a few people I totally understand. I totally understand Jade. I totally understand Asuka. I totally understand Charlotte. I'm objective, but I understand.
And we get the heel and face. The
Perez would be a real surprise.
Yeah, but then we get the heel and face dynamic for King of the Ring.
Hmm. That's
Because
true too.
I believe that's how it was last year. Yeah, that's how it was last year. And
So,
that's how it should be.
so I'm gonna end it here on the cheap plug. Um, we've talked a lot about cash-ins, tournaments, what the truth is, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and the truth is If you hit the link in the description, it will take you to a bunch of other links like branches. It's almost like a link tree. It takes you to Instagram, takes you to TikTok, Facebook, all the different links that we have that you guys can check out. You can leave a like, you can comment. If you've been here this long, you should have subscribed by now. You're going to want to see that we're already in your algorithm. It's over. It's over already. Yeah. You might as well just subscribe anyway. I've been Stevie Jobber.
I've been Dangerous Duke.
And this has been the Dangerous Jobbers podcast. Please stay up, stay blessed, and as always,
stay dangerous.
People have been asking me to be the best in the world. Why, Eddie, why?